Hi everyone, Aiden here at the eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the CURT CrossWing Gooseneck-to-5th-Wheel trailer hitch adapter. The CURT CrossWing is a very new take on the fifth wheel hitch. This one's going to be specifically designed to attach to the ball of a gooseneck. So if you've already got the underbed gooseneck kit installed in your truck bed and you need a way to also tow a fifth wheel, this is going to let you do that. And it has these bed rails here that are designed to spread out all of that force. But the main thing attaching it is the gooseneck underneath, wrapping around the 2 5/16 inch ball, tightening down, getting all torqued down, and giving you a really solid base. It's just as easy to take it off and reuse the goose ball as it's intended, or take everything out of the truck bed and have full bed access. It's very lightweight, much smaller and more compact than a traditional fifth wheel would be. Comparing this especially to the B&W one we did earlier with this truck, it's so much easier to work with and a lot less frustrating because I don't need to get an extra set of hands to help me move it in and out, and I don't feel like I'm throwing out my back. So if you've got that situation where you already have a gooseneck in your truck bed and you want to be able to carry or tow a fifth wheel as well, this is a great way to do it because it's lightweight, easy to get in there, and it utilizes the things you already have installed under your bed. Now, even though the system is smaller and much more lightweight, it's still very capable. It's got a 20,000 pound gross trailer weight rating, and that's going to be the amount of weight it can pull. Then it's also going to have a 5,000 pound vertical load limit. That's going to be the maximum downward pressure that it can handle. Keep in mind that that's what the fifth wheel conversion here is rated for. Not necessarily your gooseneck, not necessarily your truck. So be sure to check all the other components in your towing system and go by the lowest rated components so that we're hauling safely. The other thing about this is that part of this installs onto the kingpin and the pin box of your fifth wheel. I'll get this unpinned right now. The handle operates with this standard pin and retaining clip. Push in, rotate up, and pull out to release it. And then this whole section is actually what installs and torques down onto the kingpin of your fifth wheel. So that's pretty unique, leaving behind just this part in your truck bed, making it even more lightweight to get in and out. This is going to pretty much live on the kingpin permanently. This plastic piece we've got in here is just a kingpin insert to demonstrate what that might look like since we don't have a fifth wheel with us today. But that just keeps the kingpin held in captive and secured. Whenever we go to hook up to our fifth wheel, we've got the handle in the open position right here. I'll just show you whenever we close it, that bar draws through this slotted hole in the back. So to give you a look at what that might look like, you'd back up to your fifth wheel. This would slide in, and you've got a small divot on the bottom that would hold it in place. And then the handle just pushes in and rotates back down into that captive position, securing with the pin and clip. The pin and clip could be swapped out for a padlock as well if you're looking for some extra security, but it makes the whole hookup process pretty easy. And you do have a lot of room to move in here. So if you're not perfectly aligned, you don't have to worry too much about it because it does give you some wiggle room for hooking up while also providing some movement for whenever you're driving down the road, acting as a bit of a shock absorber and helping to make sure that all of the chucking from your trailer doesn't necessarily translate to your truck. As far as height adjustment goes, we've got it in the tallest position right now. You can see the other two adjustment points for the height. At the tallest point, it's going to be 21.5 inches from the base of the truck bed to the top of where our pin box is going to be. And then in the lowest position, it's going to be 17.5 inches with even increments throughout. Now from the side here, you can see where it actually hooks onto the goose ball and secures. And you'll notice that it's actually a bit offset. This point is in the back. So from the goose ball to the point where our kingpin is going to be hooking up, that's going to be a 9-inch offset. So if you find yourself maybe needing some additional cab clearance with your fifth wheel that you maybe don't need with your gooseneck trailer, then that's great because this is already going to be getting you that by just attaching this to your existing goose ball. This does come with a lube plate as well. That would act as a barrier between this top plate and your pin box, kind of in between where our kingpin would be. That would just slot through the middle right here and act as a barrier so we're not getting so much metal on metal contact between this piece and our pin box. That's really going to help because this is a steel construction all throughout with a black powder coat finish. The powder coat finish is going to help it resist rust and corrosion over time, but it doesn't do a whole lot if all that finish is scratched away. What's going to scratch it away? Metal on metal contact. So any way that we can reduce that and limit it is going to help the powder coat last longer and help the fifth wheel last longer. Now, whether you're looking for an easy way to tow both a gooseneck and a fifth wheel, you've already got the gooseneck and now you just need a way to attach your fifth wheel, or maybe you just bought a new truck that already had an underbed gooseneck kit installed and you don't need it. You're looking for a way to carry a fifth wheel and you want something that's easy and lightweight to manage, I think the CURT CrossWing is going to be an excellent option. Even if you don't have a gooseneck kit at all, I'd still recommend the regular CURT CrossWing that just drops into your ISR rails because one, it's going to be so much more lightweight. Way easier to get in and out of the truck bed. It's got a ton of adjustment points and it's very simple to set up. Now, speaking of that initial setup and installation process, let's walk through the process of getting this one installed with you right now. Starting off the installation, I like to get all the hardware and all the pieces laid out. Luckily with this kit, there's really not a lot to it, so it doesn't take up too much room inside the bed. Now we've got a couple pieces I want to point out. It's the main section of the crosswing and our bed supports with these plastic spacers in between. Now with these bed supports, there's no hardware that is included with these or needed with them. All this does is provide a base for the crosswing to sit on and help distribute the force evenly across the bed so we're not getting as much pressure in a smaller space. So with that being said, you can lift up the crosswing, make sure you have it in the proper orientation with the sticker facing towards the tailgate, and our attachment point at the back end, that's what's going to sit over the goose ball. I'm just going to set this loosely in place right now, and then get my bed supports on the proper sides with this one towards the back, matching up the shapes to the base of the crosswing on either side. And then we can start to maneuver this around and actually get it off of the gooseneck ball for the moment. With the crosswing set aside, we can grab this metal block. That's going to be the piece that slides over the gooseneck ball and one of our carriage bolts. There's two different lengths that come in your kit, and it really just depends on the height of the gooseneck ball. If this sits up higher, we can use the shorter carriage bolt, or if it's low and flush with the bed like it is right now, we can use the longer one, passing it through the bottom of that block and dropping it down over the top like this. And these holes on the side, those we can secure in place with the provided pins and linch pins on either side, just to keep it from popping up or back out. Now before you set the crosswing in place, you'll want to get the head attached. Now with this, you have height adjustment built right in, and you want to figure out your optimal height before you get this set by measuring your truck and your trailer. We'll take this large bolt and pass it through the holes at our desired height setting. I'm going to go for the tallest setting today. Then we'll have a bushing that slides over out front, then a large nut for the opposite side that we can come back through, tighten and torque down now before we have limited clearance. Once that's torqued down, you can take the whole assembly and drop it into place over the exposed threads of that carriage bolt, and trying to keep it lined up with the base rails as best you can, but we can always come back and adjust this a little bit more later. With that in place, we can drop down a flat washer, our large flange nut, which we will tighten and torque, and follow that up with a smaller jam nut just to help make sure it's held in place. Now on the back side, we've got our smaller bolts with nuts that will thread in. And as you're threading these in, you'll feel them eventually make contact. And once they do, you can run the nut down and come back through to tighten and torque these down to the specifications in your instructions. Now at this point, you're done with the truck side install. You would want to install this other piece onto the kingpin of your fifth wheel. We don't have a fifth wheel on us right now, so we're just going to show you what that would look like with this fake insert. And to make it a little easier to show you, I am going to get this set in place so it'll kind of hold it in place for me. But just know that you'd be doing this on your fifth wheel. This would go up and over the kingpin, and you take the two longer bolts in your kit, pass those through the side, and secure them with the lock nuts on the other side, and then torque these to spec. And then, once they're all tightened down, you'd be able to pull up to your fifth wheel, back it up, and latch this head in place to join the two pieces together. And that'll do it for our look at the CURT CrossWing Gooseneck-to-5th-Wheel trailer hitch adapter. Overall, I think it's going to be a really solid option, whether you're looking to tow both a gooseneck and a fifth wheel, and you want a way to just easily be able to get that fifth wheel part out and keep the gooseneck part in, or maybe you bought a truck that already has that gooseneck in it, and you just need a way to carry a fifth wheel, and you don't want to do any uninstallation, you just want to utilize what's already there. Regardless of what you go with and what you choose, I think this is going to be a really simple option, very easy to use, very lightweight, and overall built very solid. Thanks for watching.